Welcome to Bed Crime Stories Podcast. I'm your host, T, and if true crime is your jam, and like me, you enjoy delving into unsolved cases, trying to figure out who done it, please consider subscribing. Also, if you find value in my content, please hit that like button. Happy Sunday, my true crime aficionados. I hope you're having a good one. Well, Miss Daisy over at Fantasy Farms and Fairies has been back at it, sharing unverified information with her viewers and peddling it as fact. I have to give this lady props for being able to get so many people to turn up in her lives for guests who claim to be in touch with key players in the Summer Wells case, namely Summer Wells' missing aunt, Rosemary Bly, and now Summer's grandmother, Candy Harer. The guests are always one person away from the actual person everyone really wants to hear from. The last time it was someone who claimed to be talking to the missing Rosemary Bly. Remember that one? Miss Daisy got two very successful lives off of that messy hoax. This week, it was a lady named Melissa who claims to have been texting with Candy Harer for 2.5 months. And I have to tell you, this Miss Daisy lady has a gift for making you believe that her guests are really talking to these key people associated with the case. She herself fully buys into it, lock, stock, and barrel, and she sucks her audience in as well with her southern drawl and charm. One of her tactics for creating this sense of believability is directly addressing the key players, in this case Candy Harer, during the live, making it feel as if Candy Harer is there watching the show, keeping tabs on the live chat, and debating within herself whether she's going to show up on the panel. It's a winning recipe to keep the viewers on the edge of their seats and eternally hoping that Candy Harer will show up suddenly on that panel. I have to say it's truly a gift to be able to create this facade without showing any actual proof. In both cases, the proof that Miss Daisy and her guests say they have is never shown to the viewers. This stuff would never fly on a show like Dateline or in a respected newspaper like the New York Times or the Washington Post. But on YouTube, anything goes. And for Miss Daisy, it's a winning strategy because she's getting the views, the subs, the likes, and the super chats. To spare you having to listen to the 5+ hours of her latest live, I'm going to share the highlights of this Candy Harer text message exchange. Miss Daisy's guest is a woman named Melissa, and she's claiming that she's been texting with Harer for 2.5 months now. Here are some of the things Melissa states that Harer told her. Now remember, for all these things I'm going to say, we've got to mention the words allegedly and supposedly because those text messages are never shown. Candy Harer never turned up on the panel and never showed her face. So this is pretty much the same situation we had with that fake Rose Bly person. Melissa said that Grandis, this alleged Grandis, told her or texted her that Candace put the box next to the 2 milk jugs, remember in that photo with Summer, to prop the sleeping and out of it Summer up. Per Melissa, Grandis said that Summer was not feeling well on June 15th. She said Summer was thirsty and wanted to drink the orange bottle of soda. Grandis told her no and offered her water, which the 5-year-old allegedly refused before falling asleep. That Summer was asleep at the priceless grocery store and that she and Candace only spent about 25 minutes shopping. So, remember Candace told Chris McDonough that they shopped for maybe 5 minutes? And then H told him that it was more like an hour. So now we have this supposed Grandis saying it was more like 25 minutes. So it's kind of in between H's hour and Candace's 5 minutes. Grandis also told Melissa that Summer was asleep the whole time they were in the grocery store. So that means that H saying that they were watching TikToks together in the car would not be true. Melissa went on to say that Grandis told her Don called Candace while she was dropping H off at his house and that he wanted her to take Summer to the doctor. She said that Candace did not want to do this, however, because both she and H were intoxicated. This supposed Grandis also allegedly stated that Candace drives while intoxicated all the time. As for the video that Grandis took in the Silverado of Summer sleeping against the milk, supposedly Candace got mad at Grandis in that moment and was yelling at her, and the yelling was caught on the video. Per Melissa, this supposed Grandis said that Candace cut the yelling part out of the video. Melissa goes on to state that Grandis said that neither Summer nor the boys helped take the groceries from the truck to the house in the camper that day. She also stated that Summer was asleep when they arrived home, so much so that when Candace lifted her arms, they just fell back down limp. This supposed Grandis said that Summer never got out of the truck. Now, this Grandis also told Melissa that she received morphine at the hospital for her knee pain, and when Candace arrived to pick her up, both Candace and H were already intoxicated. The supposed Grandis also told Melissa that when they all got back to 110 Ben Hill Road, it was 3 p.m. She, Grandis, was out of it and went straight to her camper to sleep. She told Melissa that she woke up to Candace calling out Summer's name, and Candace telling her that Summer was gone and had been abducted. This Grandis also allegedly stated that she heard Candace leave the property with Summer. She also said that she doesn't believe that Candace took Summer to Don. The implication that this alleged Grandis was making was that Candace was the person who got rid of Summer somehow, and that she told Don that Summer had been abducted. So she's basically implicating Candace as the sole person responsible for Summer's disappearance. This alleged Grandis also stated that the police arrived at 110 Ben Hill Road at 6:31 p.m. This Grandis also told Melissa, supposedly, that she doesn't believe that Allie Harris took H to the doctor on June 15th, and that they concocted this detail to come up with their timeline. Also, per this Grandis, Allie never came over to the truck to talk to Candace. Per Melissa, this Grandma Candy also said that Candace has an addiction to methamphetamine, and so did her other daughter, Rosemary Bly. Now, that part I do find interesting because there have been some whispers about Rose possibly being involved with meth in some way. So this is one thing that rang true for me, but that's pretty much the only thing that rang true. However, Melissa then goes on to say that Grandma Candy also said that she wasn't upset about Miss Daisy's show about Rosemary Bly, and she supposedly said that the lady pretending to be Rose is not her niece Julie. So now that part is really strange, because we all know for a fact that the photos of this Julie, the supposed Rose Bly, were definitely photos of Rose's cousin Julie. So why would Grandis deny that? And why wouldn't she be upset if someone is pretending to be her long missing daughter Rosemary Bly? That just doesn't make sense to me. Grandis also supposedly told this Melissa that she's living at the Wells property right now in Beach Creek, and she's feeding the dogs. Candace allegedly is not speaking to her, and Candace doesn't like being on the property anymore because of Summer. Miss Daisy then speculated that maybe it's because Candace knows Summer is buried there somewhere, and maybe it's creeping her out a little. Now, for me, all of that's very hard to swallow. I really don't believe Summer is on the property. The only way she could be there is if they went and retrieved her from somewhere else after all those searches and then brought her back. But I think that would be really hard to pull off right now without somebody seeing her. This alleged Candy also told Melissa that the boys were sort of mean to each other and also to Summer. She also said Summer was Don's world and Candace was jealous of Summer because of that. So a lot of these things that this alleged Grandis is saying are things we've all heard before. So it would be easy for a Grandis imposter to come up with those details. It's upsetting that Daisy shares these things without showing the proof. Back in the day, before the whole fake news stuff, people watching shows or listening to shows or radio shows would expect to see the proof, the receipts, the evidence. They wouldn't just sit and participate in a 5-hour live show based on information that hasn't been verified or vetted. But there seems to be an audience for this type of thing, people who willingly buy into the story and enjoy discussing it even though they haven't been shown any proof to support it. I personally can't buy into it on any level without the proof. Sorry. If we're really here because we enjoy true crime, we have to remember the adjective true. Maybe there needs to be a new genre called pretend crime. I'd be okay with that if they sold it that way and everyone knew right from the get-go what they were doing. Now, Miss Daisy and this Melissa person were also sort of saying that something big was going to happen in the Summer Wells case this weekend, today, tomorrow. And I guess we'll just have to wait and see. You know, Ernie Shell also said something to that effect, that Candace was ready to spill the beans and she was going to let it all out. Well, you know, we don't know. Maybe it'll happen. Likely it will not happen. I hope it happens. Let's say that, I hope. Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories, now do me a favor, smash that like button.